Emotional regulation in children is not spoken about enough. I say this from a clinician's point of view and somebody that's really trying to bring it into conversations more. We focus on it when we're older. We focus on our emotions and how can we regulate it better and what is needed to be able to self-regulate. But we don't speak about it with our kids. We maybe include maybe mindfulness or a few walks on the beach, which is great, and I love that. But we're not talking about their big emotions and teaching them how to regulate because they can. And the sooner they do it, the better for them when they're older, right? So the one thing that I would say is that we need to take one step back. We need to look at self-awareness first in our kids. It doesn't matter what age. As young as 3 or 4 years old, we can start helping them to become aware more of subtle changes in their bodies. So if it is they're breathing too fast, we can make them feel their breath, listen to their breath, and say, maybe that's too fast. What can we do? We can calm down. We can breathe together. So we're teaching them how to listen, how to feel, and how to become aware and then co-regulate. So that is the first step is co-regulation. And then later on, they'll be able to self-regulate. And that would lead to better ways of emotional regulation. So that would be the first thing is to become aware of their physiological signs and the subtle differences in these. The second thing is when they're a little bit older, so around 5 or 6, we can teach them about their sensory profile. So we can teach our kids what kind of sensory input heightens them and what calms them, what they like and what they dislike, and how they can ask for more of the things that they like and how can they get away from the things that they dislike. Those are all amazing things for later. So these skills that they would learn then how to ask, how to advocate for themselves would be so good for them for emotional regulation for later. That's the sensory profile. Then we can also look at their communication profile. Maybe they're not as comfortable in expressive language. Maybe they need to be writing or showing gestures or telling the person that they're speaking with that they need a timeout, they need to stop, they need a timeout, they need 3 minutes, and then they'll be back. Maybe that's a way for them to just get their thoughts and feelings together. So that would be the communication. So we can teach our kids that they don't just need one type of communication, but they can have two, they can have a backup, they can have three. Personally, I have an optimized version for communicating, and then I have one that when I feel under attack, and that we can also teach our children. And then also we need to teach them about their conflict styles. How are they in conflict? Are they quite direct? Do they need a minute to breathe? Do they need to write down what happened? Do they need to maybe speak to somebody else before they go to the person that they're having a debate with or some conflict with? These are all remarkable skills to teach our kids and to learn at a young age. And then they can take that into adulthood. That's the profile. Those are the profiles that we can teach our kids. Conflict styles, communication styles, our sensory profile. We can teach them about their behaviors, what it means when they're upset, why they sometimes react one way and their sibling might react a different way in the same situation, and that's totally fine. So after that, I would teach them that it's also important to love who they are because we're all unique. And if we don't start self-love and acceptance at a young age, we're going to struggle with it when we're older. So maybe at night we can chat to each other and then ask one another, what do you absolutely love about yourself? What are you proud of for doing today? What is something that really made you angry? And how can we let go of that anger so we also find ways to regulate as a family, not just in isolation? And then after that, we can start focusing on self-advocacy. So if we know and our child knows that they dislike bright lights, they can maybe write down, if that's how they want to communicate, to their teacher and ask them, look, can you maybe dim the lights slightly? It's really bright in class. And those are the steps really for emotional regulation, is to become aware, to really know what we like, what we dislike, and then to regulate and co-regulate first and then regulate by ourselves, to love and accept who we are, and then to advocate. As a parent, you got this. You are already the expert, and these are just some tips that you can add in your toolbox. Let me know how it goes.